Hi, this first topic is locking cells. Locking cells is anti-intuitive because it presumes they are unlocked and you have to lock them, when in fact, all cells by default are locked, but until you protect the page, the lock doesn't take effect. So it's like those doors with the buttons on them. You can push the button so that it's in the locked position, but until you close the door, it doesn't take effect. Now this is a spreadsheet full of formulas. You can see, if you looked underneath these, you would just see that they're just absolutely loaded with formulas. And I don't want anyone to mess it up accidentally. The only place I want people to put in stuff is right here. So what I'm going to do is select this area. And I can either right click and go to the Format Cells dialog box, or I can come over here and click this little area and it opens up the Format Cells dialog box. Then I need to go to the Protection tab, which is the furthest on the right. And I'm going to unlock these cells and click OK. Now, if I go to the review page, I can protect the sheet. Now it's going to ask for a password. You do not have to put a password in there. If you do, there's no way to retrieve it if you forget about it. So I just leave it blank. Unless you're expecting someone to do something malicious, just leave it blank. And we'll click OK. So now if I try to do anything, it says a cell chart you're trying to change is on a protected sheet. It's not going to let me do it. But right here, I unprotected it. And I'll put in a number and you can see the results from here, but I cannot change the formulas underneath. If I want to make changes to the page, all I have to do is go back to the Review tab and unprotect the sheet. As soon as I do, we get color and distinction on the ribbons again, and I can change everything just as before. Do it one more time. I'm going to click on this, and this time I'm going to right click because that's another way to get into the Format Cells dialog box. Click on this, and as you can see, we normally open up to the numbers page, but I'm going to open up to the protection page. It's locked. I'm going to unlock it and click OK. And now I'm going to protect the sheet. I'm not going to give it a password. Click OK. And now I can change this if I want. But if I try to change this, it won't let me. One other thing, if you check the hidden box, and that is this box right here, by placing a check there, you are instructing Excel to not display the formulas at the top of the screen in the formula bar. A little more on the topic of protection. You can protect an entire workbook by going to the Review tab and selecting Protect Workbook. And of course, you have the option of putting a password in it. It's set to structure. At structure, a person cannot add worksheets, and they can't make the normal changes that you would make on a workbook. If you select Windows, this feature prevents others from hiding or unhiding or moving or resizing or closing the workbook. This next topic is freezing panes. If you have a large spreadsheet, much larger than this, you're not going to want the headings to scroll off the page. So let's just bring this over. As you can see right here. What you want to do is freeze the panes, and how you do that is you select a cell and then you go to the freeze panes icon and select it. So everything above that cell and to the left of it is frozen. In this case, I'm going to choose A5, go to the View tab, and right here where it says Freeze Panes, I'm going to freeze the panes. That means everything above this cell will not scroll off the page. Okay, I'll go to Freeze Panes and unfreeze it, and now it will scroll again. Suppose I want to freeze it in two directions. If I were to select this cell, that means everything to the left and everything above will be frozen. And that's kind of nice if I don't want the names to scroll off the page. So I've got F5 selected. Go to View, Freeze Panes, and Freeze Panes. Now the names never scroll off, and the headers never scroll off. And if I don't want it, I can click Unfreeze, and they're unfrozen. I should point out that you also have the choice of freezing just the top row or the first column, but most people like this one. Just two topics to go. Splitting windows, which can be found on the View tab. And finally, we have hiding columns and rows. Let's go to the View tab. Okay, so this is how I would split this spreadsheet. First, you want to put a selected cell anywhere along the A column. Go to View and select Split. This will divide it into two separate windows. And when you want to bring them together, you click Split again, and they come together. If you put your cursor anywhere along row 1, it will split in a different way. So we'll click Split here. And now you've got this one, and you've got a range over here. You can actually drag apart if you put the cursor right on the bar. You can drag it over, and then you can use the slider on this side or on that side. And when I want to undo the split, I just click Split right here. Suppose I wanted it split in 4 different directions. Then I wouldn't put it in the first row or the first column. I would put it anywhere else. So we'll put it right there, click on Split, and now I've got 4 different areas. I can change this part, and let's bring this over so you can see it. And I can drag this part. And when I no longer want the split, I come back up here and unclick it. And we'll go all the way up to the front again. So your project is to practice splitting along column A, first of all, and then along row 1, and then anywhere else besides column A and row 1 to have it split into 4 different areas. There are times when you might want to hide a row or a column. You don't want it to print out, you don't want other people to see it, maybe you want to protect the page and they can't see it. So let's just say we want to hide this one that says A in it. What you do, you click on it, and then right click for a contextual menu and choose Hide. And it's hidden. Let's do it again. Click on it, right click, and hide. Now if I want to unhide them, all I have to do is click around it, right click again, and choose Unhide. That's one way of doing it. There's more than one way of doing things. Let's try the same thing with rows. Let's just say I want to hide these rows. Right click, choose hide. And now if I would go to the print page, you can see only the first few show up. And when I want to unhide, I could just double click here and that should open them up. But the other choice is to select the row before and afterwards, and that selects everything in between, and then right click and choose unhide.